Before the mansions, before the charity galas, before the magazine covers praising him as America's most visionary businessman, Alexander Whitmore, now a billionaire in his early 50s, built his empire on something far darker than innovation. On paper, he ran a global investment corporation. In reality, his wealth came from laundering money through fake nonprofits, illegal overseas shipments disguised as medical supplies, bribing environmental officials to hide toxic dumping, and exploiting desperate communities by promising jobs that never existed. Every brick of his empire was cemented with secrecy and silence. But secrets have a strange way of slipping through cracks. And in Alexander's world, the biggest crack came in the form of a young black nanny named Maya Robinson. Maya was 33, bright, quiet, observant. She had a degree in child development, a love for storytelling, and a survival instinct sharpened by a childhood in Detroit. She had only taken the job because before the mansions, before the charity galas, before the magazine covers praising him as America's most visionary businessman, Alexander Whitmore, now a billionaire in his early 50s, built his empire on something far darker than innovation. On paper, he ran a global investment corporation. In reality, his wealth came from laundering money through fake nonprofits, illegal overseas shipments disguised as medical supplies, bribing environmental officials to hide toxic dumping, and exploiting desperate communities by promising jobs that never existed. Every brick of his empire was cemented with secrecy and silence. But secrets have a strange way of slipping through cracks, and in Alexander's world, the biggest crack came in the form of a young black nanny named Maya Robinson. Maya was 33, bright, quiet, observant. She had a degree in child development, a love of storytelling, and a survival instinct sharpened by a childhood in Detroit. She had only taken the job because she needed stability, and the Whitmore salary could change her life. She was hired quickly. Too quickly, she realized later. Alexander liked employees who blended into the background. For a year, that's exactly what she did. Until the night everything changed. It began in the basement laundry room, a place she rarely visited. She was searching for one of the children's missing hoodies when she noticed an expensive leather folder jammed behind the dryer. Curiosity tugged. She pulled it out. Inside were documents stamped with the names of foreign companies known for corruption, logs of shipments scheduled at odd hours, and bank transfers to accounts registered in islands she had never heard of. At first, she blinked, confused. Investment portfolios didn't look like this. Charity funds didn't move like this. Her heart pounded. That's when she heard voices, deep, urgent, close. Maya ducked behind the shelves. Alexander and a man with a thick accent stepped into the room. "Where's the redirected shipment?" the man asked. "Handled," Alexander said sharply. "But if the EPA keeps snooping, we'll need to move the dumping site again." Maya's stomach dropped. Dumping. Redirected shipment. EPA. Illegal, criminal, dangerous. "When will the next payment go through?" the man asked. "Tonight, through the charity. It'll look clean." They left. Maya stayed hidden long after their voices faded. Her hands shook so hard she nearly dropped the folder. She put it back exactly where she found it, her mind racing. From that night forward, she noticed everything. Midnight meetings, unmarked trucks, foreign calls that ended when she entered the room, documents hidden in children's art drawers, men in suits who never introduced themselves, huge money transfers disguised as donations. She hadn't asked to know any of it, but now she did. And Alexander knew she did. 2 days later, he cornered her in the hallway. "Maya," he said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes, "you're a smart woman. Smart enough to know some things are better left unspoken." "I didn't say anything," she whispered. "Good," he said, leaning closer. "Let's keep it that way, because loose tongues drown fast." She understood. It wasn't advice. It was a warning. For the next 2 years, Maya lived in that house like a ghost of herself. Sweet to the kids, polite to the staff, silent about everything she knew. The only person she trusted was Clara Bennett, the estate's event coordinator in her 40s. Clara treated her with respect, with gentleness, with humanity. Clara was the one person Maya could have told, but fear chained her tongue. Until the night of the Billionaire's wild summer party, the night everything shattered. The night truth broke free. Music shook the mansion. Guests drank like royalty. Flashing lights made everything glimmer like a dream built on gold and lies. Maya drifted through the madness quietly, her mind heavy, her heart tired. Tonight felt different, heavy, inevitable. She spotted Clara speaking with donors and stepped forward, her breath unsteady. Clara saw her expression and excused herself instantly. "What happened?" she whispered. "We need to talk, somewhere private." Clara led her behind the ballroom curtains into the service hallway. "Maya, you're scaring me. What's wrong?" Maya swallowed hard. "I know what Alexander is. I know how he makes his money. I found proof accidentally, but he knows I know. He threatened me. He threatened my life." Clara froze, eyes wide. "Maya." But before she could finish, a tall shadow filled the hallway. Alexander Whitmore stood in the doorway, tuxedo crisp, jaw tight, eyes burning with silent fury. "Maya," he said, voice dangerously calm, "step away from Clara." Clara stepped in front of Maya instead. "No, you need to explain why you're threatening your staff." Alexander ignored Clara's words. "You and I discussed this once. You promised silence." Maya lifted her chin. "I'm done being scared." Alexander moved so quickly, Clara barely reacted. He grabbed Maya's wrist and dragged her further down the hallway. "Maya!" The party noise drowned her voice. Alexander pinned Maya against the wall, not violently, but with a cold, controlled pressure meant to intimidate. "You think anyone will believe you?" he hissed. "Yes, because I have nothing left to lose." He snarled quietly. "You're done talking." But he was wrong, because someone else heard everything. "Alexander?" Eleanor Whitmore, elegant, silver-haired, dignified, stood behind him with 3 stunned guests. she had come to find him for a toast. Instead, she found her son gripping a young Nanny by the wrist, rage on his face. Clara rushed in. "Mrs. Whitmore, Maya was about to tell me something important before your son grabbed her." Eleanor looked at Maya, then at Alexander. "What is going on?" Alexander opened his mouth, but Maya beat him to it. "For 2 years, I've known the truth about your son's wealth, the illegal shipments, the money laundering, the bribes, the environmental crimes, the fake charities. I found documents, I overheard calls, I saw the trucks." Gasps rippled through the hallway. Phones rose, recordings began. The world tilted. Alexander lunged forward, but guests blocked him. "Maya, shut your mouth." "No, not anymore." "Security," Eleanor commanded. "Take him to the office. Detain him." Alexander's composure shattered. "Mother, you don't understand." But she finally did. Or maybe she always had and never wanted to. 2 guards grabbed him and dragged him away as he shouted, threatened, pleaded. The hallway filled with whispered horror and camera flashes. Clara held Maya tightly. "You're safe. You're finally safe." Maya broke down, not from fear this time, but from release. Eleanor stepped forward, tears in her eyes. "Maya, I am so sorry. Everything will be handled properly, starting tonight." For the first time in years, Maya believed her. Investigations erupted. Authorities raided Whitmore offices. Whistleblowers came forward. Evidence flowed like water through broken pipes. Alexander Whitmore's empire collapsed publicly, loudly, spectacularly. And Maya? She wasn't silenced anymore. She became the key witness, the truth teller, the survivor. Clara stood by her through every interview, every court hearing, every long night. Eventually, Maya moved into a modest but warm apartment, her own space, her own life, her own peace. One evening, she and Clara stood on the balcony watching the sunset. Clara asked softly, "Do you regret saying something?" Maya shook her head. "No. Secrets kill slowly. Truth hurts fast. But then you heal." She turned toward the imagined camera of her future. "And if you followed my journey thus far," her voice softened, but her eyes glowed with strength, "make sure to subscribe and comment on what you think about the decision Maya made."